Jesus Freak here, and I've considered getting one of these for a while, and this one kind of fell into my hands. It's a Cambridge Clarion. Now, these are designed for ease of reading. So, it's in a paragraph format, like modern translations. And it was released in 2011. For the 400th anniversary of the King James Version. Now, if you're familiar with Cambridge King James versions, they came out with the David Norton's New Cambridge Paragraph Bible a couple years before that, and it kind of hit with a thud in some circles. Because it lost the italics and it made a bunch of changes to the text. A lot of people didn't like. Anyway, I think this Clarion was kind of meant to be a step back from that. It's very similar in format, except that the references are on the outside instead of the gutter. Anyway, it's got your typical, it's got the normal title page you find on your Cambridge Bibles, and as I showed you before, or when I said, it's 2011 edition. It's printed and bound by Royal Jongbloed. This is a CalfSplit version. I'm not exactly sure, since I think they said that their French Moroccos are made out of split calf skins too. So I'm not exactly sure what differentiates CalfSplit from a French Morocco. But obviously, French Morocco is the fake Highland goat skin, so to speak. It's a cheap imitation of Highland goat skin made with another type of leather, like usually calf skin. Anyway, going back to this again because it's got the English coat of arms. I say English, not Scottish. I said English, not British, because there's two different coats of arms. There's an English one, there's a Scottish one. And older Collins Bibles have the Scottish one. Anyway, Epistle Dedicatory. Translators to the reader. Always a good thing to find in Bibles of this sort. It's good to have this to combat the idea of double inspirationism, Peter Ruckman's idea that the translators were basically just, taking dictation from God instead of actually using their talents, which kind of minimizes, if you ask me, the translators. So it goes from the translators to the reader right into the Old Testament. And it's a pretty basic single column paragraph format with the original notes. There's some later added notes. These are in brackets. a practice which started, I believe, with the original Cambridge Paragraph Bible edited by Scrivener in 1873. From the Old Testament, directly into the New. And this is not a red letter edition at all. Cambridge red letter is usually only a semi-red letter anyway, because they restrict it to when Jesus was on Earth. Anyway, the colophons are present at the ends of the books, the Pauline epistles. After Revelation, you have this Reader's Companion. Now, this same Reader's Companion shows up a year later when they updated the Pit Minion to have the paragraph format similar to the Clarion, except the Pit Minion's 2-column with center column reference, which I prefer over the single column with the side column reference. Of course, that's my opinion. Anyway, by the way, they retypeset it for the Pit Minion. It's not exactly the same edition. But the Reader's Companion is basically a dictionary / concordance thing. Now, keep in mind it does preach stuff like the 3 Isaiahs, stuff like that. So, you need to kind of keep this in mind. Now, after this, you go into Bible maps, and they're now these are the same maps that you find in a lot of the newer these maps. These are the same ones you find in the newer church Bible publishers. I have them also in my note takers. And I thought these were Cambridge maps. I really did. It was Mark from Burton Bibles who set me straight on this, because church Bible publishers erased the copyright messages on these maps. Or, maybe wherever they got them from did this. They're from Moody, not Cambridge. More recent Cambridge Bibles have actually Cambridge maps, as do, I think, the older ones. But these are actually Moody maps, not Cambridge maps. There's an index before them, and just, a couple blank pages, and just ends at that. Now, I was told this was second, but the person I got it from said he couldn't really find anything wrong with it. He said maybe it's just ding on the gilding or something, but I actually think I found out what makes it a second. I think they double imprinted the black on one of the maps. That's a minor thing. That's practically nothing. Anyway, just to compare with the pit minion, it's about the same, smidge taller, smidge wider, about twice as thick. Where's my... Okay. And to compare with Cameo, this is an older Cameo, and it's probably a rebind. But, again, a little taller, a little thicker, because the Cameo is about the same height and width as the pit minion, but thicker. It's still thicker than a Cameo. Still thicker than a Cameo. Still a pretty portable, decent sized Bible. But, it's an 8.75 font with 10.5 point leading. Which is, actually, that's a lot of space between the lines. Kind of like how the turquoise has a lot of space between its lines compared to, say, like the Cameo and stuff. But I guess, this is what I'd call... This is a good Bible, I guess, for reading, because it's in the paragraph format. Now, I know a lot of people, like their King James Bibles, that don't like paragraph Bibles. Now, I was raised on the RSV, so paragraph Bibles are just, more natural to me. But, take that as you may. Anyway, Jesus freak out.